Now, cakeage, a charge for bringing your own cake into a restaurant. For a birthday, for example, one of 1,000 new words or phrases to be included in the Oxford University Press's online dictionary. Other phrases include bants for lively chit-chat and fur baby, that's a pet dog or cat apparently, alongside more topical news terms like Grexit and de-radicalisation. Well, the dictionary's senior editor Fiona McPherson says she's always looking and listening for new words. She joins me now from Oxford. Welcome to you. Fiona, thank you very much. I'm sure it's been a busy day for you so far, but let's just go through a few of our favourites that we've picked out in the newsroom. I know hangry is a particular favourite. I suffer from being hangry quite regularly.
Yeah, exactly. Hangry is particularly good because, you know, everybody feels hungry from time to time, but hangry gives that impression of someone, you're quite angry and irritable because you're hungry. So it's more than being hungry, it's sort of that state of mind that you're in. And I think that's a rather nice addition to the language, really, because it's being quite creative with the words that we've already got, blending them together to come up with something just that little bit different.
Now, something that many of us will have witnessed or suffered from if you travel on the London Underground regularly, manspreading.
Yeah, manspreading. It's the phenomenon by where man is on public transport, as you say, usually the tube, and is sort of taking up more space than he needs to by sort of spreading his legs quite wide open. And that's coming from the same place as we had a word mansplain. So that's the idea of a man telling a woman something, but he's perhaps being a little bit patronising with it. So I think that's coming from the same kind of ballpark, really. But it's something I think which we all recognise, and now there's a name for it.
Now, a particularly British term, wine o'clock or beer o'clock, those often appearing on social media, I have to say.
You see that a lot, and maybe gin o'clock as well. It's quite, o'clock there is quite productive because it basically means, is it okay? Is this a good time for me to be able to have whatever beverage it is?
And pocket dialing someone, we've all done it, haven't we?
Yes, yes, exactly. I think that's something everybody's familiar with. That's where on your mobile phone, you've got it in your pocket, you're walking along or you sit down and suddenly you phone someone and you have no idea that you're talking to them, in inverted commas, because you're not, but all they can hear is maybe the sound of the conversation you're having. And that's a kind of the peril of the modern world, if you like, that probably wouldn't have happened, say, 30, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it can be potentially very embarrassing indeed. And just finally, while we go through these, the other favourite we picked out, cakeage, which I suppose has originated from corkage, the fee charged by some restaurants for bringing your own.
Yes, exactly. Corkage, when you take a bottle into a restaurant, your own bottle of wine or whatever. And now if you take your own cake in, maybe just because you want to celebrate someone's birthday, some places are calling that cakeage, so they're charging you for bringing the cake in. And that's just language working in exactly the way it always has. New things come along or new ideas come along, so it's adapting to fit with those.
Fiona, how did you decide which words made it in? I mean, what sort of process is involved?
The process is really to make sure that people are actually using these words, and that's the main thing. No word will ever go into the dictionary unless we can find examples of people using it. So we look at online sources, we look at newspapers, we look at novels, we find the words that people are using that they haven't yet got in the dictionary, and that's how we decide to prepare the entries and which ones we're going to include and which ones we'll maybe leave for next time because the evidence just isn't there yet.
And it's not just young people's words, is it? Very briefly, if you will.
No, it's not. I mean, anybody, you'd be surprised the number of people who are inventive with language. It's not really about age. Sometimes it might seem to people that it's all young people's slang and stuff, but it's really not. Everybody is being inventive with language and coming up with new words, and we do try to reflect that as much as we can.
Fiona McPherson, thank you very much indeed for joining us from Oxford, and we look forward to looking through a few more of those new entries to the online edition of the Oxford Dictionary. Thanks very much for being with us on GMT. We will be back in a few minutes' time.